Hello everyone, I Abhishek Misal welcome you all to the SWAM online courses on biomedical instrumentation and sensor. In the previous lecture, you all have got the information about different terminology and electronics device used in the medical field. So we already have knowledge about electronics instruments. Now coming to today's lecture, in this we are going to learn application on instrument and sensor to save human life. Our discussion will cover the different therapeutic devices used to save the human life. In this chapter, we discuss the therapeutically instrumentation, stimulator, prosthesis, incubator, ventilators, heart lung machine, artificial kidney, diathermy devices, electrosurgical instruments, cardiac pacemaker and other electric stimulator. Cardiac pacemaker, electric stimulator to treat the heart blockage. Electric stimulator to treat heart block. Electric stimulator conduct to the heart cause it to contract regularly. First degree heart block, second degree heart block, third degree heart block. Asynchronous pacemaker, free running at the uniform fixed rate 70 to 90 beats per minute, not used anymore. Synchronous pacemaker, pacemakers stimulate the heart when needs. For example, pacemaker pulse may cause VT or fibrillation if it falls in the depolarization period following a spontaneous ventricular contraction. It is started working and it's give the pulses to the heart. Demand pacemaker, timing circuit of a fixed rate of 60 to 80 beats per minute, but it takes the feedbacks and it's reset according to the response. Pacemaker is in standby mode if a normal heart contraction occur within a fixed time. RTL synchronous pacemaker, use a RTL electrode to detect the RTL contraction. Use ventricular electrode to stimulate the ventricular synchronize with the RTL contraction, and according to that response it will be work. Combination of demand and RTL synchronous pacemaker operate as a demand pacemaker. If no RTL conduction occur, rate responsive pacing pacemaker has to control algorithm to control the pulse generated using a various psychological variable measured by implanted sensor. According to the sensor, they will be and provide the response to the body. External pacemaker, pre-continuous insertion of intracardiac electrodes, patient in ICU or waiting of internal pacemaker implantation, or patient recovering from the cardiac surgery or correct temporary conduction disturbance, and it is used only in an emergency condition. A specification of external transcontinuous cardiac pacemaker, it is used 80 milliampere pulse, electrodes of the chest. Pain, it is a very painful, but it is very important and necessary. Power supply is the primary and secondary battery. The battery are lithium iodide battery and the voltage of the battery is 2.8 volt. Open circuit voltage and high source resistance. Timing circuit, when a simulates should be applied to the heart. Microprocessor control quartz crystal used for the giving the pulse to the microprocessor. Complex logic circuit are used. The rate of these external pacemaker are 60 to 150 beats per minute. Output of the circuit generated optimize and electric stimulate pulse by the triggering from the timing circuit. It provides the constant amplitude pulse of 5 to 5.5 voltage and 500 to 1600 second. Constant current amplitude pulse will be 8 to 10 milliampere for 1 to 1.2 second. The packaging will be biocompatibility, protection of internal circuit from a corrosive environment. Minimum volume and mass are required. Made from the titanium stainless steel, and it will be specially sealed by the electrode beam or a laser welding technique for protection of the pacemaker as well as human body. The property of lead wires. In the pacemaker we use the lead wire. The quality of the lead wire is very much essential. It will be a good electric conductor, mechanically strong, constant motion of the beating heart, patient movement, good electric insulation, stimulation of other tissue, current shunting, Interwoved helical coils of spring wire allow molded in the silicon rubber are used for this. Polyurethane cylinder are used, electrodes and locations of epicardy, and the location of these electrodes are epicardical, intramyocardical or endocardiacal. Polarity of these are unipolar, one electrode within the heart, and if we using the bipolar, the two electrodes within the hearts. And the material of these electrode are platinum alloy, stainless steel, carbon, titanium, etc. Bladder stimulator used for urinary incontinence and other neurological bladder dysfunctionation. Urinary incontinence, weak sphincter muscles surrounding the urethra, increase pressure with the bladder due to coughing and laughing. Other issues like neurologically excited excessive contraction, the detractor muscles of the bladder, electrical stimulators or urinary incontinence. Electrodes in our near the muscles or nerve involve a specific control of the urethra. The specification of these bladder simulator, they have the pulse duration of 0.5 to 5 millisecond for the muscles. Electrodes are 100 to 400 millisecond of neural electrodes. They are used for neural electrodes. Pulse repetition rate of 20 to 100 pulse per second. Average stimulating current is about a 1 milliampere. Transcutaneous RF power of electric stimulator for continuous stimulation. Electric stimulators is used to help the patient for void or any other conditions. Externally controlled stimulator cause the detractor muscle to contract. Multiple electrode on or within the bladder wall or on the spinal nerve that intervade the bladder's muscle simulator. In the physical therapy, to determine the contractibility of the muscles and the exercise of the temporary paralyzed muscles for the muscles atrophy due to discuss prevent the reductions of the muscles mass. Function of the electric stimulations are the muscles paralyzed due to neurological injury. Many electrodes with different stimulation sequence from the controller produce a movement. Patient control the stimulator using the normal muscle contraction. The major problem is that the drop put prosthesis. Patient with stroke gain problem on the door foot, they are unable to lift their foot or they are hitting the balls. So they use this problem is called the drop foot, and for this we using the drop foot prosthesis. The specification of these simulators are the mostly constant current type charges transfer per pulse in the constant or varying load impedance. Pulse current is 2 to 20 milliampere with the pulse duration of 1 millisecond. The peak voltage of these simulator are 3 to 30 volt at the electrode depending upon the loads. Cochlear prosthesis. Patient with hearing impairment from the dysfunction of the sound transducing apparatus of the middle and inner ear. External units are implanted in the ear and it contains the electrode inserted into the scala thymopanin phase and basilar membrane. It is used the fine wire cast with electrostromatic or any array of the thin film deposited electrodes on a flexible polymer substance. Encoding of speech into the stimulus pattern, limited recognition of the word. Visual prosthesis, electrically stimulated to the optical cortex and the optical nerve. Sensation of the light for a certain type of blindness. Miniature array of or stimulating electrode are used for this, and there are the too much research are required for cardioverter. Cardioverter is the combination of cardiac monitor and defibrillator. Defibrillator is to treat the atrial arrhythmia. Avoid to an electrical shock during the T wave, since this may produce ventricular fibrillation. R-way control switch. Defibrillator is synchronized to the ECG signal. Output occur immediately after the R wave. Can observe ECG on the cardioscope for the effectiveness of the therapy. Implantable automatic defibrillator. Third, it is used to implant or in the internal in the body of our human being, and it contains the internal electrode required less energy 5 to 30 joules for defibrillator and achieve the earlier defibrillation. Sensing means of the cardiac fibrillation or tachyarrhythmia electrically and mechanically signal. Power supply and energy storing element are required like battery, similar to the pacemaker for treatment of bariatric rhythmics. Mechanical, cardiovascular, arithmetic and prosthetic device. Mechanical devices with electronic instrumentation, monitoring of the hemodynamic, ECG, aortic and central venous pressure waveform. Oxygen saturation and potassium oxide saturation will be monitored by this. Monitoring of the devices itself for any malfunction like a gas leakage, blood loss are required. Cardiac assist device, basically this device is used to repair, or it is used for the therapy as a therapy of the cardiac arrest. First device is aortic balloon system or intra-aortic balloon pump. A long sausage shaped balloon is introduced into the aorta through a formal artery. Operation controlled by sophisticated electronics using ECG and pressure signal. At ventricular contraction, balloon collapse by suction. Blood easily entered the aorta. After the aortic wall closed, balloon is inflated by the pressure of carbon dioxide gas, which is soluble in the blood and less chance of the gas embolism. Force blood into the body for the clearing the wall. Pump oxygenator. During the cardiac surgery or we call say open heart surgery, pump oxygenator replaces the function of the heart and lung. Connected between the superior and inferior vena caves between the right atrium and femoral artery or femoral artery to femoral, connected between the superior and inferior vena cava between the right atrium and femoral artery for femoral artery to femoral vena bypass to keep all the cannula away from the heart. It is used as a pump, roller pump for multi-finger pump with the disposable tubing, pulsating pump with the appropriate checks valve, oxygenators, and it is also used as a film type. A large surface film of blood is drawn into contact with nearly 100% oxygen atmosphere for rotating disc. Membranous type bloods flow through the fine tube of the membrane, permeable to gas. Better the blood, since blood has no direct contact with gas, less chance of immobile formation. Except corporeal membranes, oxygenator are used for this. Hemodialysis. Hemodialysis is a technique which is used or which is the replacement of kidney. It is an artificial kidney periodically connected to the circulatory system of uremic patient. Artificial kidney periodically connected to the circulatory system of uremic patient to remove the metabolic wasted products from the blood. Exchanger, dialysis chamber with a compartment for a patient blood, another compartment for the dialysis, and a semi-permeable membranes between the dialysis delivery system. The basic type of exchange, it is used as coil dialysis. The most commonly used a tube which is made by the tube of a semi-permeable membranes material would be into a coil. Diastolic are circulated between the individual turn of the coil. Requirement of the coil. If we are using the coil for the the dialysis process. These are the requirement of coil. Coil must be a long for a large effective surface area of mass transport. The coil have a high resistance of the blood flow, need a pump in a series with the arterial blood supply, increase the pressure, improve the ultrafiltration rate of the membranes, increase the pressure, improve the ultrafiltration rate of the membranes. Dialysis need to forcibly circulated for rapid mixing. Another pump is required. Parallel plate dialysis, similar to the multi-layer parallel plate capacitor, with the plate made of semi-permeable membranes material. Blood circulated between the alternate pair of the plates, and dialysis circulate between the other plates. Blood flow a thin sheet to maximize the surface to the volume ratio. And another type of the dialysis is the hollow fiber kidney. It is have a 10,000 to 50,000 hollow fiber connected in parallelly, which is used to pass the blood flow in the lumen of the fiber and dialysis the surrounded them. Walls of the fiber serve as a semi-permeable membranes. Dialysis is pumped through the space surrounding the fibers. Daily state delivery system. Daily state delivery system. It is the metering pump mix the concentrated daily state with water, and another pump circulate the dialysate through the exchanger chamber. Electronic instrumentation, leakage in the semi-permeable membranes and immediate blood losses when these are the condition appear when the body it is required to the dilated delivery system. It is used as optical leakage detector, which is contain the colorimetric and optical density change. Dial state is a clear liquid and blood is red. Major leak from the clotting or any other problem is solved by this. Monitoring of the pressure change in the blood compartment, any abnormality in the gross concentration of electrolyte in dialysis system. Measure the conductivity of the state in the mixing chamber using the impedance technique. Air bubbles in the blood stream, life threatening air imboil bubbles detect before this process. Another type of the therapeutic which is mainly used in the lithiotherapy, it is work on the kidney stone, because the kidney stone is the cause of very great discomfort and loss of kidney function. Lithotomy is the open insertion of the surgical technique. Lithotripsy, non-invasive or minimally invasive surgical technique. This generation of the stone into the a small particles so that they can pass through the urinary tract. Percutaneous lithotripsy are used for small incision. It is used a probe insertion under the X-ray fluoroscopy. Mechanical shock wave by control electric discharges of or ultrasonic wave break the stones. They are removed using the probes and pass through the urinary tract. Extracorporeal shock wave lithotherapy shown in the figure. It is entirely non-invasive. Many mechanical shock wave of the electrodical reflector waves are focused at one focal point several centimeters away from the reflectors. Mechanical shock waves are controlled by the electric discharge or ultrasonic wave breakup of the stone. Pieces are removed using the probe. Patient and reflectors are submerged in the demineralized and disengaged water of the gantry support. Biplane X-ray position the patient so that the stone located at the focal point. High voltage, approximately 20 kilovolt pulse at the spark gap produce a shock wave. The same X-ray system monitor the degeneration of stone. Operators adjust the patient position up to 2000 shocks are used to reduce the stone into 1 to 2 millimeter fragments. Most of patients resume fully activity within the 2 days after that treatment. Ventilator is the one of the most important devices, and it proves its importance in the duration of corona period. Ventilator or respirator assist the patient in the ventilating their lungs. Respiratory therapy, the component of ventilator are of the controller. A machine determine the respiratory ventilations. It's work on the closed loop system, where it will be goes the feedbacks whenever the requirement is high. It give provided the more vent oscillation or ventilation or other, and the condition depend on the condition. Assistator machine assists the spontaneous ventilation of the patient. Negative pressure ventilators improve the psychological of the patient body. Is a for the negative ventilator, patient body is sealed in a chamber for treatment. Chamber pressure is reduced. Negative pressure with the thorax. Inhale, and it will be inhaled, return the chamber pressure to the atmospheric, and it will lungs are recoil or exhale by the pressure. Positive pressure ventilator blow, it is used in the principle of the blow air into the lungs by increasing the pressure in that inhale. Lungs recoil when the positive pressure is removed. Ventilator time cycle, using with the negative pressure ventilator, time period of the negative pressure is controlled by microscope and solenoid valves. Volume cycle or control, it does not cycle unit. A given volume of air has been administered. Pressure override valve for safety. Machine cycle, if pressure exceed a predetermined value before the administration of the required volume, it will be controlled by this pressure. Air is administered to the patient until the pressure reaches the predetermined limit. Infant incubator. Infant incubator is mostly used for the premature or newborn baby, which will be unable to regulate the temperature and inhale the according to the environment. Infant is a chamber with a maintained and elevated temperature requirement, minimal oxygen, good for premature newborn who are more susceptible or to the respiratory problem. Warm air conventional incubator are used for this. In this incubator, temperature control air is passed through the chamber. Proportional control system is used. Control parameter is either the air temperature or the skin temperature of the baby. Overheating alarm and heater power reduction switch are available for in this incubator. Patient can assist only through arm port radiant warmer incubators. The structure of this incubator are open structure, easy access to infant. Radiant heating element contain the electric heater with the heat reflector produce the heated air and heat convention. Thermistor are used in the chest or abdomen of the infant, measure the skin surface temperature. Proportional control of the circuit of heating elements are used for these conditions. Thermistor is covered by the thermal insulator or a foam pad, special tape to avoid the direct heating from the heat source. It is contained also a monitor transthoracic impedance, movement of the baby using a displacement detecting pad, movement of the baby's chest measured by the chest wall, alarm control for the 15 to 30 seconds. Continuous positive airway pressure device for the new in this device it pass continuous positive airway pressure to the newborn. Monitor the properties of inspired gas, generate the alarm to the doctors, and pressure sensing, it is used for the semiconductor, strain gauge for pressure sensor, temperature sensing thermistor and bridge circuit are used. Fraction of oxygens in the inspired air are measured by this device. Fuel cell oxygen sensor generate a current proportional to the potassium oxide, and temperature compensation are also provided in this incubator. Analog to digital converter and microprocessors, analog to digital converter and microprocessor circuit are available or in these circuits. Drug delivery system. Continuous drug administration with a narrow therapeutic range. Drug infusion pumps are used for that therapy using a gravity feed fluids reservoir. Inexpensive, widely used, no, and but it is not so much accurate. Volumetric control are required. LED and photo detector are used to detect the drop of a drip chamber of a conventional set. A wall between a fluid reservoir and the drip chamber is controlled. Pressurial pump or inner diameter of the tubing and the propagation velocity of pressurial wave determine the rate of the flow. Stepping motor and angular velocity control of digital electronics devices. Precise control infusion rate are required. Operating modes are available in the different operating modes. Open loop system, closed loop system are used for the measuring the inputs, output and feedbacks, and control algorithm infusion rates are all these things are measured in this drug delivery system. Ambulatory and implantable infusion system. Miniature insulin pump and mostly open, a lack of implantable glucose sensor. In this condition, these miniature insulin pumps are used. Implantable drug delivery system for that use, and miniature pump is slightly larger than the cardiac pacemaker. It contains the drug reservoir. Concentrate agent in constant pressure will be disappear in the body. Long thin capillary tube, a tube with high resistant, steady and slow infusion to the vein are used. Drug delivery to a specific issues, drug delivery for the specific tissues like in cancer or chemotherapy, it is used this system. Artificial pancreas implantable to implantable using this drug delivery system. No usable in this there is no usable glucose sensor yet provided. There is a research required for usable glucose sensor. Long term drug delivery using the passive device. Polymer matrix with the drug is implanted in tissue for providing the proper drug is slowly disappear throughout the body through the capillaries. Thin polymer cylinder is injected beneath the skin to deliver the hormone progesterone for several months of women. Simple, and the circuitry of this device are simple, and open loop system are used. In the closed loop system, we use the sensor control algorithm and infusion rates. Ambulatory and implantable infusion sets. Anesthesia machine. Anesthesia machine is widely used in the medical field and surgery. It is used for the administration of volatile anesthesia agent to the patient in or through their lungs. It is used gas supply and delivery system for the oxygen and nitrous oxide are mixed in the desired proportion to flow, and the flow is adjusted using the flow meter and valve. And it is used the vaporizer for the creating the gas. Gas is bubble through pass over the volatile anesthesia agent in liquid phase. Gas flow rate determine the amount of anesthetic agent administered. Patient breathing circuit is required. It is used the closed circuit delivery of anesthesia producing gases to the patient via one way valve through the one section of tubing. It is used to removal expiring gas for the patient via another way valve through different section of the tubings are used. and expiry gas are removed by the other different tube. Carbon dioxide absorber are used to in this section, reintroduce into the impurity lines. Expire gas are removed from the human body by the reservoir bags at low pressure or ventilators if it requires. Surgical instruments, electrosurgical units, electrosurgical the type of electrosurgical unit, electrocautery apparatus, cutting and hemostatics are using for this instrument is. It is in situ tissue destroy used for the in situ tissue, it is used for in situ tissue, destroy tissue, throat decision, stop bleeding by the causing of coagulation of blood. RF spark between a probe and tissues are local heating, damage of tissues, and basically use basic electrosurgical units are high power, high frequency generator modulator with waveform generation, and it is a coupling circuit which outputs are control. These the output of these circuits are different waveform. The range or the frequency of these circuits are 250 to 2000 kilohertz. The shape of this frequency are sine wave. The pulse rate is 120 pp's and the voltage of the circuit is required 300 to 2000 voltage, and the power is a load of 80 to 200 watt. So, cutting surgical instrument, basically it is used a high frequency voltage power instrument, and it is used the radio frequency source with some amplitude modulation. The frequency of these sources are 500 kilohertz to 2.5 megahertz, and the circuit is used as open circuit with the power of 9 kilowatt. And bloodless cutting are used for the, it is used for the bloodless cutting. Thus frequency are the same as the cutting frequency. The voltage and power is also high. The block diagram of the circuit is shown in the PPT, where the size where the working of instrument is. The block diagram of this instrument is shown in the figure, where you can understand the proper working of this instrument. It contains large low current density return electrode, large reusable metal placed under the buttocks or back of the 70 centimeter square, disposable electrodes on thigh, get soaked sponge, metal of foil backing, from foam of the pressure sensitive adhesive are used for this. Preservative adhesive, capacitors and good contact to avoid the hard spot are required for this surgical instrument. The application of laser in the therapeutic treatment is very much wide, and it is so much useful for the laser. It is so much useful for bloodless treatment. It is focused on coherent light with high intensity tissue. It is used to vaporize the tissue, coagulated incision, it the power cut tissue ranging from the skin to bone, and it is used the power of 20 to 100 watt. Large laser are also used in the treatment of human body. Optical coupling are used like lace, mirror and fiber for use are used. Control the bleeding, photocoagulation and heatings are also used in the laser treatment. Fiber optic endoscopy is very much popular for checking or determine the condition of internal body of human body. Laser photocoagular and in the ophthalmology repair detect the retina's condition, density of retina, and it is used so much widely in the clinical laboratory. Thank you.